this is 60-minute chart of XRP, and we can see that the price is currently at the resistance level of this particular pattern. We were actually within this trading zone, and currently we are looking to go above that. Now, yes, it is also notable that the RSI has already reached the top. Say, most of the time when this happens, the possibility is that we may remain in that area, because if you look at last time when we moved from 0.2627 area to 0.34, the RSI actually came into this our bot area, and we stood there for a quite long time, considering these small term charts. Say, unless we reached the kind of distribution area of that particular run up, we were at the top. Now, yes, in order to understand actually what is happening in the background and why these patterns are important, we actually need to go through different charts. Now, we are getting bull flags repeatedly on RSI. If you actually note here, you can actually see that. Now, this is a 4-hour chart of XRP, and the price is not making lower low if you actually look at the price fluctuation here. And we have a bullish divergence. If you note this, the price is stable here. It's horizontal, but here you are getting a vertical trend line. Looking further at other charts, we have some potential patterns forming, and some are interesting because this is a 60-minute chart of XRP and this one is weekly. Now, you can actually see similar patterns within the price fluctuation. Now, the support resistance areas are forming in a similar way, and both of these charts look similar in many ways. Now, this is the 3-day chart of XRP, and it's showing underlying strength. If you actually look at the RSI, you can see that pattern. And now moving into the 12-hour chart, we can actually see that points of support or resistance and those zones are actually showing you that the price may have a support here. And at the same time, if you look at the RSI, we do have divergence there showing the underlying strength. Now, yes, we do have other charts through which we will actually move ahead and try to discuss the patterns forming and the potential target on a shorter time frame. Then we can actually look at if this is happening, what will come true. Say, for example, if we were actually discussing about a broadening wedge in the previous videos, and we were expecting something like this, either a broadening wedge or a parabolic upside. Now, yes, it has to be seen what is coming in. So guys, we'll actually discuss through each of these 15 different charts which I have created for you guys, and we actually do this based on scientific articles, journals, books, as we used to discuss in most of our videos. I used to present those to you. If you guys want to check that out, you can actually go check it out in the previous videos. Now, yes, that is why we understand what to look at in the charts when we are trying to analyze those charts. Now, guys, if you like the content I provide on a regular basis, and if you find value from my content, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button, and by the end of the video, if you like the content, hit that like button, please. Now, we can actually see that currently we are somewhere in between mid accumulation and a late accumulation. Yes, most of them will agree that we are in the accumulation phase after this markdown which happened for XRP, and most of the assets are currently in this accumulation phase. Now, when we look at that and try to understand these emerging patterns, underlying strength and the bullishness of the market is due to where we are in this market cycle. Now, in this one, we can actually see there is a potential head and shoulder pattern forming, and yes, it's not completed yet and it's not confirmed yet. Unless we have a move like this, it's not confirmed. But looking at the RSI, the chances for this happening is high. Now, yes, if you don't want to look at the head and shoulder, you can either draw a rounded bottom here, which also fit in there. Now, this is a 60-minute chart, and if you look at this, say we were coming to the downside, it was the bears were controlling the price. Then we changed the trend, we moved to an high, then we moved back below, then we had a resistance here, then slowly we consolidated and moved to the downside. Then that downside is kind of breaking the previous low, but yes, it didn't go much low, it came up quickly. Now, when we actually look the same in this weekly chart, you can understand the same. We were coming down, the bears were controlling the price, we moved to the upside, then corrected a bit, then this other area started acting as a resistance. Then slowly we consolidated in that area and went below and broke this particular low here, and then slowly started grinding to the upside. Now you can actually see similar thing here. Now yes, at this particular area the break was really quick because this is a 60-minute chart and we are looking at a weekly chart here, and it was a kind of time taking procedure here in this spring. Now when we look at the next chart, that is XRP on a 3-day, we can actually see Adam and Eve pattern potentially coming around. Now why I say this, because if you look at the RSI, you can actually see that we are getting a rounded bottom here in the RSI, and most of the time rounded bottoms are bullish reversal patterns in this aspect. Now if that's gonna play out, then yeah, we are gonna get a move like this and then move to the upside, and mostly the area here, that is 0.48 to 0.5, will be acting as a resistance. Now if we look at the same XRP on a 12-hour chart, what we can see using GAN indicator is that we were actually moving within these support resistance zone. You can actually see this 1/2, 1/3, like that. You are moving till here and till here, and in this we had a resistance here, and currently we are above that, so that's acting as a support. Now that's a resistance turned support, and if we are to move to the upside, we may have resistance here, that is somewhere around 0.4. Now if you look at the RSI here, you're actually getting a trend line which is moving to the upside and making a double bottom here. Now this is not in a 1-hour or 4-hour chart, it's in at least 12-hour chart, so more or less you can actually look at a potential pump to the upside. Now this is XRP again on a 12-hour chart, but this happened way back before the last cycle. If you actually look at there, you can actually see a similar pattern emerging, that the RSI is moving to the upside in a trend line support, and we had a double bottom here. Then we just started. Now yes, the time frame which we are looking at here is not that similar. Still we are getting that trend line support towards the upside in the resistance in the RSI, and we are getting a double bottom. If you look at the 12-hour chart here, you can see that double bottom forming in. That is kind of important to note, because history, even if it doesn't repeat, it kind of rhymes itself, right? So from this one you can actually see a parabolic rise, like a possibility for a parabolic rise here, but yes, it's not yet confirmed, right? Unless we get a pump here and move to the upside, this area cannot be considered as completely valid. But when we zoom out and look at on a macro perspective, say on a monthly chart, you can actually see a bull candle or a green candle which is closing above the previous red candle, so we consider that as a shaved candle, so that's a bullish scenario there. And if you look at this highlighted pattern here in the RSI, you can actually see something similar is happening. If you look at the price movement and the RSI fluctuation, something similar is kind of happening. We went a bit above, then came back down, so the RSI was making this particular pattern, and here we are getting this similar thing. More or less the cycle looks like it's going to rhyme itself. Now connecting this top point as a resistance here, and this support here, and this support here, we get a trend line like this. Now this is not in a 1-hour, 4-hour or any short time scale. This is on a long time frame, that's monthly, and thus it makes more validity. Now if you look at that, we have had previous resistance line this and a support line this, and once we broke above that, it was like flying to the moon, right? Now what we have now here is the support line, and we are actually just above that support line, and we are making this bullish reversal pattern on a monthly chart. So you actually have to keep that in mind once you are going to open your trade, because why I'm going to state that, at the same time when you look at the 12-hour chart of XRP, you can also see this particular trend. This is known as a bullish checkmate. Usually there is a bearish checkmate and bullish checkmate. So if you see the price is going up and kind of getting halted there and checkmate, you're going to go down, that's bearish checkmate. Now we have the opposite here. The price was coming to the downside, and here was kind of the price was kind of getting supported, and checkmate, we were going to the opposite side. So we are actually getting a similar pattern here in the 12-hour chart. So that's a potential reversal sign. So it's not only one indicator showing you that a reversal is coming, it's many in different time scale. If you look at that kind of a reversal showing view this, say this particular reversal pattern is emerging here, acting as this as a support area here, and if we look at that, this should be that. And in that aspect, if you're measuring from this bottom to this top, you get around 92-93%. Now if we plot that here, you get similar till around 4.3, 4.4. Now the time taken for that here is 63 days. So if we are assuming say around 59-60 days, it comes somewhere around May. By late April or early May, it will be happening. But we also know that once the price actually starts to move upside, it go like crazy. Sometimes it may go down. It can kick the individuals out. But being conservative, I've actually taken this particular area here and mirrored it here. Now when we look at this, we can also understand that there is a pattern forming. We have kind of support lines making, and we were actually discussing about this one, right? The broadening wedge pattern, which is a textbook pattern of a reversal and a bullish reversal. And along with that, we were also looking at this exponential rise. Now when we actually put that here, we can actually see that yes, it's not actually coming above in that exponential rise category, whereas it's moving like this. Now that is just imagination, right? If this area is to repeat in a mirrored way here, this can actually happen. Still, it's cool. Like if this is to repeat, we are gonna go above 0.5 by next say upcoming June or July. Now yes, we also know one fact that when the price is going down, it kind of moves slowly because we did that huge pump previously. But most of the time when the price start to go to the upside, it just moves like this, boom. You can see that it took this much time to come down, consolidate, and when it was going to the upside, the price just blasted, boom. Yeah, considering that particular cycle, we can actually state that. Now jumping back into the chart here, we can actually see that these patterns forming here are not actually reflecting within this price action here. Now the reason for that is we were actually coming to the downside here, and the psychology of human beings are different at that perspective. Here we are kind of moving to the upside, making higher highs and higher lows. So that is kind of a trend change pattern, and if that is to happen, you have to understand that the technicals and fundamentals are actually changing. Now in say last 2 to 3 videos, we actually described some scientific articles in which it states these are the symptoms which just happens before a bullish reversal. Now in the morning video which we put, we actually some words of wisdom from Howard Marks indicating wise men come early and they have to wait because they buy in so low. To get that profit out, they need to wait. Now if you consider this as a low of the entire cycle, and if you're ready to wait, you will be reaping a hell lot of profits. Now, that's my personal opinion based on these charts and scientific articles which I go through and present to you guys. Again guys, if you guys like the video and received value from this time, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button and a like button.